So I want to vent, vent to you guys real quick, right? You see it quite a bit, you see it all over the place, you see a lot of people who went through some very depressing things, some really sad stuff, and there's volumes to it, there's levels to it. But depression is a broad word, it's one of those things that can't be compared. Obviously some people get a little more of a courtesy pass than others, depending who you are. Some people straight up won't care, and that's the way it is. Not to say that those who even receive, the whole, support, depending on, not to say that it changes their situation, because it doesn't. Like I said before, it's really uncomparable. So, over here, you ever, because depression is one of those things where it's like it's feelings, it's really about how strong you can get up, is really what it's about. It's about how strong you can be through all the suffering and taking risks and avoiding fear. See, here's the thing, we're not afraid to do things. We're not afraid to step out of boundaries. We're not afraid to, try new things, to do new things, to step out of boundaries, to evolve. And it's one of those things where you don't want this attachment from other people. It's like you can't it's almost like you're the type of person who just can't be around the same people for long periods of time. It's almost like you have to be everywhere, and you can't be in this one place for a certain amount of time, and you got to shift gears and you got to shift environments every small period of time, just because of who you are, because you see what happens. So with that being said, fear of rejection blocks success. Fear of rejection blocks success. Ask yourself why it is that you can do something. No matter what it is, you can do it. No one's stopping you. Even if it's something you don't need to do, you can do it. So why do you not do it? What is it that makes you not want to do it? Especially if it's something that you should do, or it's something that could help you, or it's something that you're good at. Why did you not do it? Really think about what is it that's blocking you from doing that. See, with my side, when it comes to things like this and, depression and, its wide range of, things that it does to you, the experiences you went through, the suffering you went through, the pain, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, it's one of those things where, with me, it's about awareness. And it gets depressing when you specify that. You guys know the slogan, what's been spoken about does not need to be spoken again, right? So you bottle up all that information, you comprehend all that information, you take it all in. You may not have the ability to break it down like that, but you can understand the full circumference. And guess what? You're going to come around people being this type of person, and they're going to act like they should be telling you something, knowing damn well that you are more aware and know more than them, yes. And you're this type of person where you'll come across these people and you'll just have to listen. And in the back of your head, in your mind, you'll just be shaking your head like, wow. It's just one of those things that you just got to put up with. And it's depressing. It's depressing seeing where it is that you went wrong, clear as day. When you look back and you're like, wow, that little mistake, I didn't see that. I didn't see how clear as day that was. I really didn't put the trust in myself that I should have. I really didn't trust myself. You didn't have the confidence that you should have had, knowing damn well that you could have done it. I think it's funny how the moment you're about to really go all out and you're really about to do something that will change your life is when all of a sudden these distractions just come your way out of the blue to throw you off task, to throw you off that space you were in when you were about to do it. And so now you've been distracted. Now your mind is in a different place. And now you need to take it back to the drawing board to redraw and gather yourself back again, to build yourself up again, to be in the right space and energy to do that. The best way you could look at it when it comes to things like this is to never worry about what the reaction or what the result is going to be. You need to take that risk, and you need to have confidence and trust yourself to the max right now because of the position you're in and because of the things you need to get done. Especially when it's those moments where you're really hanging by a thread, because you've really been through it all. Depression has no end point. It does not matter what age you are. It doesn't even matter how much you've been through. It can just be the context of what you've been through. It could just have been one thing that was that detrimental that made you this word depressed. And depressed, like I said, is one of those things that can't be comparable. You got people who are depressed like me. I'm very athletic and fit, so that has nothing to do with it. I'm a very aware person, and you can still see that you can go through this. And you got people who are couch potatoes, people who are depressed and they don't want to do anything about it. They're depressed and they don't even acknowledge they're depressed. Can you really compare it? I think it's almost kind of worse when you're the person who's aware of how depression affects you, compared to those who are depressed but don't want to acknowledge or do anything about it. Whether it's, like I said before, it could be the wide range of categories when it comes to this, right? You could be someone who you're depressed about your body weight, and you're so depressed that you don't want to do anything about it because of whatever it is that was the starting point that put you there. It's things like that. You won't want to get out of bed. You'll want to sleep. You're not really looking forward. You have to find something to do. You damn near feel useless at this point. You damn near feel like you have to force yourself to have the motivation to keep going. Because of how sad it is knowing that you screwed up, knowing that you made a mistake, and knowing that it's all on you. It's one thing when it comes to people who do you, but when you do you, it's a different ball game. It's sad. It's sad. Don't ever let the external world trick you into thinking that, you know, the people that you see around you and the way they look at that moment should dictate or matter to your situation. Because you truly don't know until you know. Alright, we got all the motorcyclists popping up, making it loud during this, quiet night. But fear of rejection will block success, because when you fear rejection, you want to know what that means? It means you never even tried to do what it is that you were about to do. And it's procrastination. You could pretty much call it procrastination at this point, right? Because you were about to do something. And this is what I mentioned before earlier about how, isn't it crazy how the minute you're really about to do something that's life-changing, you're about to do something that's out of that routine, where you already know what to expect. You already know what's going to happen. You've already been in that space. You've already been in that perimeter. You've already done that. And that's what makes it depressing. Because you've already had those thoughts. You've already had those feelings. And let's go ahead and summarize and end it here, since everyone wants to listen in, which is cool, because it's all facts. And ain't nothing more depressing than that. When you have to re-feel, when you have this awareness too, when you have to re-feel and rethink all these same thought forms and feelings over and over. And you're being forced to do this because it allows for financial comfortability. It allows for stability. And you don't have to step outside your comfort zone. And that's the main reason to it. And once you reach that, I call it a breaking point. It's a breaking point. When your spirit really can't take it anymore. Doing that same thing over and over and rethinking and feeling them same things over and over. To where you really need to create a new experience that'll allow for new thoughts and feelings, right? You have to suffer the consequences of not taking those risks that you took earlier, or you're going to have to suffer those consequences of realizing that you made a big mistake and you made the wrong choice and you didn't have the confidence that you should have had to make what it is beforehand work. So now you're in a situation where you will get rejected because you're going to have to try something completely new, completely out of the ordinary, so you can just be at peace. And so you can feel what life really is. Because when you can even comprehend something to this level, to understand this, to see how much of a burden it is to repeat all of that, you really will have no choice but to get out of that same routine and to do something else that will create a new experience for you. And it is aggravating. This is what I mentioned before about, being in the same place for just a certain amount of time, and soon you'll have to move on. You're that type of person because there's so many things that happen, and then soon you start to feel like you're trapped because you're not in an environment and you're not in a space that fits you, and you feel like you're in another routine where you're repeating the same patterns over again, and you already know what the result's going to be. And this is our version of what it means to be depressed. It has nothing to do about the way you look. It has nothing to do about what you want. It's all about space. That's really what it is about. It's all about being comfortable. It's all about awareness. You know what I'm saying? It's not about what some people can be depressed about when it comes to comparing or external things or material things. No. It's about being who you are. And it's about your energy in that environment and location, and if it fits you or not. And you're going to feel out of place if it doesn't fit you. It's about knowing what's truly going on. Depression, rejection, fear of rejection will block success. Because when you fear rejection, it means you're not even willing to even try. You're not even willing to give it a shot. So you'll go ahead and you'll procrastinate, and you'll go ahead and take another option that's available just because you know the gain that you'll get from that will allow you to continue for another couple of days, instead of taking the risk of there's a word, the risk of unpredictability. And this risk could be something that involves rejection, or it could be a risk that involves success, winnings and blessings when you take a risk. I rambled on for quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. And thank you for listening.